Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is on how to use a controller to play AQ3D. I already have a video on this, but it is slightly outdated, so I decided to do a updated version of it. Before I get into the controller side of things, I just want to show you some of the settings that you might want to use in the actual game. So in the general options, you're going to be scrolling down until you get to sensitivity. I suggest having this fairly low. Now, medium is fine as well, but otherwise you probably wouldn't want to have it higher than medium because you're going to find the sensitivity really high. Of course, this depends on your controller settings as well. Next is the movement stuff, the key bindings, and this is where you want to have things set basically normal. I have everything kind of set on the normal setting. I never really changed very much, but I did change something here. For instance, the target closest enemy. I have mine set to 9, and then I had this as just usual on tab. And this is what I used to use, was the target next enemy. Now I have it set to target closest enemy. I'll show you that in the settings. So you have all these things perfectly normal, the way that you would. Just make sure that you have things set, and this is basically it. Loot all I put as 8, and everything else is pretty much the same. I didn't touch anything else here except for this. I believe I did change that, but I don't use that in the settings side of things anyways. Now let's get that controller up and running. First, you're going to be going into the big picture in Steam, and once you're in here, you're going to be going up to settings. You're going to be heading into controller settings right here, and I have the PS4 controller, which is why I have this set like this, which is the detected controller is the PS4. You can set up any one of these based on what it is that you have. Next, you're going to be going to your library. This is assuming you already have the game, and going to your AdventureQuest 3D. Next, you're going into Manage Game, and it's up here. So you've got your controller options and then your controller configuration, and this is where you're going to be paying pretty close attention to. Now, this I left on default. This is the way that it was, and this is the way that I've left it. So I didn't touch anything there. The only thing I did was this here. Now, to make this a lot easier for you, you can actually find the setting, my particular settings, you can actually find this in Browse Configs. So once you go into this setting right here, you can go to Browse Config. Actually, I don't know if this is the updated one or not, but anyways. And you've got the recommended, which will show the recommended. This is the basic recommended thing. And I'm not exactly, I guess community would show, there we go. So then you've got the community, and you've got the different options here of other people that have uploaded ones, and then mine is on the very top. Now this is, I'm not sure if this is the exact same build. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyways, if it's not, then I will show you some of the changes anyways. Otherwise, you can just go right ahead and use this thing. Going into some of the details here, I have the attack 1 set to my trigger. This is my right trigger. And then I have the bumper. The right bumper is on ability, which is number 2. So if you're using your keyboard, you'd be hitting number 2. This is what this is. This is number 3, and this is number 4. For the ultimate ability, number 5, I have it set to this one right here, which is your square button, or X if you're on the other thing there, the Xbox. And then, of course, your triangle, which is my cross skill. So these bumpers and triggers are your attacks, as well as these 2 buttons, which are your attacks. Those are your attack stuff. Then for your O button, or your B button, or whatever you want to call it, that is the target swap. You can have this set to either tab, or if you've set the closest attack thing, then you can have that set to 9. That's what I did, which I showed you a moment ago. So I have this one set to 9 because I want to be able to attack the closest enemy. So that's how I have the targeting set up. And then, of course, jump is this one right here, which is the space bar. I turned my share button, which might be your option, or I'm not sure what it is on the other one, select maybe on the other controllers. And so the share button I have to loot all. My options I have set to be the main menu, so this, if I hit that, will open up the main menu in AQ3D. For this is my camera where you're looking around, and it's also the scrolling up and down. So this is a zooming in and out. You can zoom in and out using the up and the down on the joystick here. And then if I hit the button, that's the left mouse button. If I tap this button, that's the travel form. And the reason why I put the travel form on here was so that I could move around quickly if I'm still in running motion, and then I just tap the button and I can transform while I'm still moving. So this is why I had it set to that. And I've got the movements here, the W, Q, E, and S. And then for this one here, I have the top button is the inventory. The bottom button is the regular that opens up the loot. And then last but not least, the health potions, which is to the right, and then the mana. Now I said I had it set to mana, but I honestly don't use mana that often, so it's usually some kind of perk like those daily things that I get, or the dark cake, stuff like that. Usually some kind of buff is on this slot and then this, but I just have it set to mana because in case I ever do use mana. So that was the setups there to show you some of the configuration stuff. So I have it on soft pull, not full pull, just soft pull, and I have it on the attack 1, which I named it whatever. You can name it whatever you want, and then you select which button it is that it is. So if it's a mouse button, if it's one of these buttons above, if it's one of these, you can do it however you want. And the same things, these are all set up the same way. Then for these, it's basically the same thing, but you're gonna have your style of input right here. And you've got several different options that you can have, but I have it for the button pad so that each one of these are individual and you're able to select what you want. When you go into the option, it will pop up the exact same way as what I just showed you. So you've got the R button because that is the cross skill, and then I called it cross skill because it is the cross skill. For the joystick, for the right joystick, like I said, I have it for the scrolling up or down, which would be the zooming in and out, and the camera's to the right and left, which is the A and D. And this is the configuration I have it set. So it's a directional pad, and I had it originally set to the joystick thing, which just did not work. I had it set to the button pad, which also didn't seem to work. Directional pad was the option, the best option that I found for this. And then upon doing that, once you have this, you set it to what you want to have it set to. And so for me, I had it set for right up here, you can see. So that's the scrolling in, and then the other one was for the scrolling out. So those were the things that I chose for this. And for the movement, this would be another thing where a lot of people would probably assume that it is a joystick type of setting since it is a joystick, but that is not what I chose. I chose directional pad. The joystick just did not seem to work really well on AQ3D. So the directional pad worked much better. So that's what I have it set to, directional pad, and then again I have it on the 8-way, so it's an overlap, and you have other options here, but I found the 8-way was very good. I have where you can click, so the click action, the tapping the button changes it to the travel form, which was the V, and you can change this the same way you can change any of these. Simply, oh, the dead zone is there. I'm not sure if I touched that or not. And then last but not least, this, and I have it set to directional pad for this as well, and each one of these are individual things. Again, you can name it what you want. I've got this, I can change the name of this and call it buffs if I want to do that, and then that way that's what it would be called. So if I want to do it that way, I certainly can. But anyways, that is the basic setup, and I'm using my controller right now. As you can see, the movement is nice and fluid, and I can head forward using the X button to jump, and I've got all my abilities set. So if I want to do my, there's a water here? I never knew there was water there. Cool. Weird looking water, but anyway, still cool. So this is my movement, my turning speed, which is not over crazy or too sensitive or anything, and you can certainly turn it higher if you want to have it higher. Like I said, I have my sensitivity turned really low, but if you want to really crank that up, it makes a huge wait a minute, that it wasn't that. Oh man, I made a mistake the whole time I was saying sensitivity. Sorry, it's not sensitivity. I had that down wherever that was before. It was actually turn speed. I have that set in the middle, and this whole time I was saying sensitivity. Oh, regard what I said before. Just forget what I said before. It's turn speed. Turn speed is what you want to have on for your increased turn, and you don't need to have this on when you're doing the enemies. I found it was just way too high when I was attacking like regular mobs. I just found that turning like this was just way too fast. Adjust it to how you want it, but it is the turn speed. You want to have this cranked to maximum when you're doing PvP because you don't want them to get behind you. So when you're jumping and stuff, you can be turning on a dime, and you want to have that speed when you're doing a PvP. So turn speed, not sensitivity. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I was saying sensitivity. But yeah, that is basically it. And I hope this video helps you guys. Hope I was able to give a little bit more information than I did in my last one. And hopefully the settings that I have for you will work. That is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.